scheduled for Tuesday, September 3rd at 5 p.m. at Council Chambers. The council is proposing a total budget of more than $193.9 million with a proposed tax rate of 47.07 cents per $100 of valuation. This rate will effectively raise taxes on a $100,000 home by $10. The second public hearing will be held on September 10th. A 19-year-old man is in the Victoria County Jail facing multiple charges. Samuel Lavia Aguilar of Victoria faces 3 charges. Included in those are tampering with physical evidence with intent to impair and collision involving serious bodily injury. He's being held on a $350,000 bond. A shooting has left 1 Dallas police officer dead and 2 others hurt. Dallas police say officers responding to an officer in distress call arrived to find 1 officer shot in a patrol vehicle. Gunshots were exchanged between the responding officers and a suspect at the scene. All 3 officers were taken to the hospital. Police say 1 died, 1 is in critical condition, and the 3rd is in stable condition. Meanwhile, the suspect who fled from the scene was shot and killed following a chase. A 3rd grade teacher is among 20 people arrested, allegedly associated with a violent gang that was trafficking drugs around Houston. Federal agents say she was caught on a wiretap dealing drugs while in class. The Sheldon Elementary School teacher was taken into custody on campus. 3 others, including the gang's leader, were already in custody.
They are a part of the Rich Kings gang, which has been operating for years out of Southwest Houston and is responsible for drug trafficking and violent crimes across our entire city, including several murders.
Sheldon school officials say the teacher is now on administrative leave and district officials are working with law enforcement. A man charged in the death of a Lavaca County man has a court date next month. Now, back on January 1st, 3 men are accused of beating and stabbing a man in Moulton. 20-year-old Jesus Mendiola of Buda is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. His date in district court has been rescheduled for September 18th. Mendiola's bond has been set at $75,000, and he is also being held on an immigration detainer. In that same case, 23-year-old Miguel Garcia of Buda pled guilty to aggravated assault causing bodily injury. That's a felony charge. Garcia was sentenced to 4 years in state prison. And a 3rd man, 31-year-old Enrique Garcia of Granite Shoals, also pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge of assault causing bodily injury. Garcia was given a suspended sentence and will be under community supervision for 12 months. Well, now let's take a look at your first warned storm team forecast. Meteorologist Trey Meinig is in for Mac this evening and gives us a look outside. Trey.
Exactly, yes. We're seeing a lot more sunshine than we saw yesterday. Why is that? Because we have northerly winds, brought us in a drier atmosphere. Still humid on the outside, though. Still have that humidity in place, and instability is still in place as well, so keeping the rain shower chances in. Let's zoom on out, see if we can find anything. Pretty much devoid of everything. All the rain is mainly east of Houston now toward Louisiana. What happening to that? What about a cool front that's getting closer to us? Will that bring us any rainfall? That could be the case as well. We'll give the details coming up in the full forecast. Shawna?
Thanks a lot, Trey. Well, NASA has cut 2 astronauts from the next crew. They did this in order to make room on the return trip for the 2 stranded astronauts at the International Space Station. A SpaceX rocket for the orbiting laboratory will launch in September and return with Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore in February. NASA decided that it's too risky for Williams and Wilmore to fly home in their Boeing Starliner capsule. Bumped from the SpaceX flight are NASA astronauts Zena Cardman and Stephanie Wilson. The family of the Rice University student who was killed in an apparent murder-suicide says that she was not in a relationship with the gunman. 21-year-old Andrea Avila, who university leaders say was a junior from Maryland, was found dead inside her dorm room earlier this week. The body of a 22-year-old man was also found with a single gunshot wound to the head. In a statement, Avila's family disagreed with reports that Avila and the man were in a relationship. Well, it is that time of year. The high school football season kicks off tonight, and you won't want to miss our Crossroads Live football post show tonight, which is after the 10 p.m. newscast. Here's sports reporter Ray Robinson with a special look at tonight's game of the week.
Your game of the week is Edna taking on Industrial, a Texas high school football rivalry years in the making. And although this is now a non-district game, don't overlook it. There's still a lot to play for. All teams have been preparing all season long, both teams entering this game with new quarterbacks taking the field as starters. Edna with an impressive scrimmage against Yoakum that we was able to attend. Industrial is still a favorite, though, in this district. Last season saw them finish 8-4, finishing third in their district. And one of those losses came from the hands of Edna. Industrial also suffered elimination at the hands of Edna in the third round of the playoffs last year. This rivalry is one of the featured ones in CFL history, so make sure you stay tuned in on CFL later on tonight. I'll have the recap, fallout, and more interviews from coaches and players. Reporting live in Vanderbilt, Texas, Ray Robinson, KAVU TV 25 News Now, Sports.
It's going to be an exciting night, and that brings us to tonight's viewer poll. Which local football matchup are you most excited to see tonight? Edna versus Industrial, Shiner versus Hallettsville, Calhoun versus Yoakum, or Victoria West versus Lockhart? Pretty close, but right now Victoria West versus Lockhart is leading the way with 32% of you, and they will be at home. So looking forward to getting those Friday night lights turned on. But we want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. We'll take a look at your response on 25 News Now at 6. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Just hit the like button and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever we post new content. And stay with us straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Former President Trump addresses a town hall talking about his fertility treatment plan and his opponent, Kamala Harris. Also ahead, the latest new details coming out in that nationwide major deli meat recall. Welcome back. Former President Donald Trump spoke at a town hall in La Crosse, Wisconsin, at an event moderated by Tulsi Gabbard, who endorsed him this week. This was Trump's first visit to the crucial battleground state since accepting his nomination last month.
But I did get to see the strangest thing today. I looked at the news conference of Kamala. I call her Comrade. Comrade Kamala. She's a You know that. She's a Marxist. Her father was a Marxist before her. So she was brought up in the family tradition. And she really is, and this country is not ready for a Marxist. We don't want a Marxist as a president. And
so as you just heard, Trump took aim at his opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris. During the event, he also reiterated his plan to cover fertility treatment costs and again criticized Harris, calling her a Marxist and using the nickname Comrade Kamala. Well, Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Governor Tim Walz, sat down for their first major unscripted interview since rising to the top of the Democratic ticket.
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time.
Harris answering a wide range of questions during that CNN interview, including what she would do on her first day in the Oval Office if she's elected to the presidency. Other topics she addressed are her position on fracking, illegal border crossings, whether she would be open to nominating a Republican for her cabinet, and also explaining that her values have not changed. A Brazilian Supreme Court justice has ordered the suspension of Elon Musk's social media giant X. This comes after the tech billionaire refused to name a legal representative in the country. The move further escalates the months-long feud between Brazil and Musk over free speech and misinformation. X has not had a representative in the country since earlier this month. Well, officials fear that recalled meat products at the center of a deadly listeria outbreak could still be in some kitchens ahead of this holiday weekend. The outbreak at the Boar's Head, Jarrett, Virginia plant is the largest the U.S. has seen in more than a decade. The Department of Agriculture reports 69 non-compliance issues at that facility just within the past year, where inspectors say they found mold, insects, both dead and alive, as well as puddles of blood on the counters. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says at least 57 people have been hospitalized in 18 states due to listeria infection. There have also been 9 confirmed deaths. Boar's Head recalled more than 7 million pounds of its meats, primarily liverwurst, but also ham, sausage, bologna, hot dogs, and bacon. More information on the recall is available on the CDC's website. Well, this Labor Day weekend is the unofficial end of summer, and many will be squeezing out the last bit of fun before fall. But if your Labor Day plans will have you around a pool, at the beach, or in the lake, one family is urging you to think about safety after their 4-year-old nearly drowned last summer.
Looking at her now, you'd never know Dara Adesokan's bright light was nearly darkened.
Hey, sweetie pie.
Last summer, Dara was at a pool party. When it was time for cake, her parents say she got out of the water and removed her floaties. But while everyone else was eating, the 4-year-old did what she loves to do. She jumped back in.
I was engaged in some other activities, and the last I had checked on her, she was with her dad.
I was looking for her thinking she was in the bathroom.
After mere moments of not having eyes on her, 2 teenagers saw Dara motionless at the bottom of the pool. They dove in and got her out. Officials say pool surveillance video showed she'd been underwater 6 minutes.
When I turned and saw her lifeless body being pulled out of the water, limp and blue, it was a state of instant just shock and terror.
Through CPR done poolside, Dara regained a pulse. She was life-flighted to Children's Scottish Rite Hospital in Atlanta, where doctors worked to save her.
Honestly, I thought we had lost her already.
But they didn't. After 3 weeks in the intensive care unit and time in rehab, Dara was wheeled out of the hospital, not only a survivor, but also with no long-term damage. Not everyone has this happy ending.
Drowning is the leading cause of death in ages 1 through 4.
Pediatric emergency physician Dr. Sarah Lazarus says those who can't swim should be kept within arm's reach at all times, even if they're in floaties. For children who can swim, swim, always keep them in your line of sight.
Having lots of people around may actually be even more dangerous because you expect people to be watching your child and you're not as focused on them.
Dara is now in kindergarten. Her parents say she's a miracle, but they don't want others to go through what they did.
Not even for 1 second. Don't take your eyes off of them.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, attention Crossroads High School band fans. We are spotlighting marching bands with our Band of the Week segment. Each week we will pick one band to feature on Crossroads Football Live. And while we kick off CFL tonight, we'll start spotlighting the Band of the Week next Friday, September 6th. So tune in to CFL and our social media channels to see who's marching to the top.
Let's take a review of the day. 93 degrees was the official high, low 74 degrees. Pretty much on target where we should be this time of year. 105 back in 2012, very hot. That's one of the hottest days Victoria ever recorded back on the state back then. No rain today. Rain chances still in the forecast? That's a yes. We'll give you the details coming up in the full forecast after the break. And good afternoon, everyone. Well, tonight's the night. CFL, Crossroads Football Live, the game of the week. Industrial Cobras versus the Indy Cowboys at Vanderbilt at the Industrial Cobra Stadium there. Partly cloudy skies, should be mostly dry, but on the hot side, just shy of 90 degrees at kickoff time at 7:30. Winds from the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Why is the wind from the north? We usually have a southerly wind. That's a very good question because we have a low pressure area that moved inland near the Beaumont-Port Arthur area up to about Houston or so. And we're on the western side of that. So that means the winds around low pressure, it comes around the north. Gave us some drying conditions today. And still keeping it on the hot side though, can't get rid of that. But they help to reduce the rainfall that we were anticipating. And coming up for your day tomorrow, the feel like temperature topping 100 degrees, 104 or so, coming up by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So please be careful out there. And the rain chances reduced somewhat today and tomorrow, but they'll be coming back later on. More on that later on, as a matter of fact. And best rain chances will farther to our east from about Bay City, Wharton, Ocampo, toward Galveston, Houston area, and points east from there into Louisiana. Any rain anticipated coming up for your day on Saturday and Sunday will be well less than 1/4 of an inch, but we'll keep the rain chances in there because there still has instability, and definitely that daytime heat will be a factor in producing some more rain showers and storms around here. And tropical Atlantic, still very quiet on the outside there. High pressure dominates the central part of the Atlantic Ocean, which is typical for this time of year. All of the tropical waves go under the high pressure ridge and head to the west. A few there look pretty healthy, one near the Cape Verde Islands, one in the central Atlantic, one getting closer to the Caribbean Sea. Outside of that, it looks pretty clear everywhere else. And a weak low pressure area in the northwestern Gulf that gave us our rain yesterday and moving toward and has made landfall near the Beaumont-Port Arthur area, Texas-Louisiana border line, and moving into Louisiana. We're on the western side of that, so that's why we have the dry air for us. But it's close enough to keep some rainfall chance in our forecast for us in our area here. And here's the future tracker on that. Definitely see the twist in the atmosphere there, low pressure area. Not anything like a tropical depression, storm, or anything of that nature. Don't have that dynamic in the atmosphere with that. But it's moving toward Louisiana, as you see, keep taking most of the rain with it, while we remain on the dry side for now. But things will be changing as we head toward the first part of next week. Why? Because we have the tropical moisture still in place over our region here, and instability in place as well. And a weak front end coming up by the weekend in the first part of next week, getting closer to us. This will add more lift in the atmosphere and give us better rain chances once again coming up for the majority of the week coming in next week. And we'll still keep that in mind as you make your plans, of course. Rainfall is mainly in the Gulf of Mexico and toward the upper Texas coast, toward Louisiana. Rest here will be less than an inch overall as we head through the rest of the weekend. At Cuero, 9 o'clock in the morning, partly cloudy skies for your Saturday. Could be a scattered rain shower and storm, very isolated to scattered at best, nothing too widespread anticipated. Port Lavaca, highs will be near 90 degrees, and scattered rain shower and storm likely as well. Same thing for your day tomorrow. In the daytime hours and the afternoon, it's from about noon to about 5, 6, 7 p.m. with the best chances to see storms in our region here, and they'll be very widely scattered at best. But we're increasing the rain chances again as we head toward Sunday into your Labor Day as the front gets closer to us. I showed you a little bit ago. So keep the umbrellas handy just in case. Not as widespread as we once thought yesterday, but there's still pretty good chances for us here. We do need the rainfall. Highs near 90, lows in the 70s. So be careful out there, stay cool. And take a look at this right here. This is the QR code. You see there on your screen. Get your smartphone now and scan the code. They'll take you to a web page. You can download our app. News, weather, and sports at your fingertips. Very easy, convenient, and it's free of charge to be connected with us. So do that if you can. Back to you, Shawna.
All right, thanks a lot, Trey. Well, coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at your stocks, plus the latest inflation numbers as we get closer to an expected rate cut by the Fed. All right, taking a look at how your stocks ended the week. The Dow Jones up 228 points, the S&P 500 up 56 points, and the NASDAQ up 197 points. Oil is down $2.34, closing at $73.57 per barrel. Well, the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge did better than expected last month. Data from the Commerce Department shows inflation held at 2.5% in July. That is just shy of the Fed's target 2%. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index also shows consumer spending is holding steady. Spending increased 0.5% for the month of July. The latest data comes just weeks before the Fed is expected to start cutting interest rates. One thing that you are almost certainly paying more for is your auto insurance. Costs are up 52% in just the last 3 years, and part of the issue is more uninsured drivers. The Insurance Research Council says 14% of people on the roads in 2022 were driving without insurance. Well, stay with us. We'll take one last look at your Friday football forecast when we come back, plus some easy ideas to celebrate National Eat Outside Day. And here's a look at what's coming up on World News Tonight, right after 25 News Now at 5.
Severe storms across the country as millions travel for the holiday. The tragic death of a hockey star killed along with his brother the night before their sister's wedding. And 2 new deaths in the Northeast from the West Nile virus. Next.
Well, if it's not too hot, tomorrow might be the perfect day to enjoy your breakfast, lunch, or dinner outside. That's because tomorrow is National Eat Outside Day. Yeah, there's such a thing. So hit up your favorite restaurant and insist on any outdoor tables that they may have. You can also enjoy alfresco dining by simply packing a picnic basket for the park or the beach, or even just grilling out in your own backyard. Just tastes better eating under an open sky. Having a meal from your local food truck also counts. Eat Outside Day encourages you to get some fresh air while enjoying your meal. So, may want a TV nearby though, because we've got high school football tonight. We've got college football over the weekend.
Yeah,
so,
a lot of exciting things.
Yes, so grill out and enjoy the gridiron.
Well, the heat's going to be an issue, of course.
Okay.
Especially tomorrow and now currently if you're going to have the football games. Plenty of water, dress for the cool, because it's definitely going to be hot there in the stands. And rain chances will begin to increase a little bit more. Not so much for your Saturday, 40% by Sunday into the first part of the week, including your Labor Day, keeping about 60% as the weak front gets closer to us. High temperatures near 90, so the clouds will keep the temperature down a little bit. Lows in the 70s. Be careful out there and stay cool. Heat index values approaching or exceeding 100 degrees each afternoon.
All right. So those headed out to the games tonight, do they need to take an umbrella?
No, we're fine. It's
Okay.
all clear, all dry. Just take some ice water.
Maybe a fan, something
That
like that.
too.
Okay. All right. Well, and also be sure to join us for our Crossroads Football Live show tonight after 25 News Now at 10. But thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.